Good morning. Welcome to Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Wherever you are, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to get started with our first two community songs. Lift your voice, let your joy sing out. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm so glad somehow I got salvation now. Keeps spirit moving in my soul. Every day I find peace and joy in mine. It keeps me singing, singing in my soul. Yes, I'm singing, oh, singing in my soul. When the troubles roll, I sing from morning to night. It makes my blood lighter. Yes, I'm singing in my soul. Yeah. Now and then something comes sneaking in, then I steal away and I pray. Yes, sometimes through the night comes music of delight, keeps me singing, singing in my soul. Yes, I'm singing in my soul. When the troubles roll, when I sing from morning to night, it makes my burdens light. Yes, I'm singing in my soul. Yes, again I'm singing.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So my name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am so privileged and honored to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. So I want to take a moment to welcome everyone joining us virtually from wherever you are, on whatever platform you're using. Welcome. I want to particularly welcome anyone who's joining us for the first time. Whether you're here in the building or whether you're right where you are our guest this morning. And we are so honored that out of all the choices you could make, you chose to spend your morning with us. I want to also take a moment to welcome anyone who is watching the recording after the live stream, because it is available on YouTube, and know that you are welcome equally. So let me remind us of who we are and share with our guests who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, to one another, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures. And we intentionally, on purpose, promote our community and these teachings. And our community has broadened. That's one of the gifts of what has happened over the last almost year, is that it really has opened us up to a community beyond the brick and mortar boundaries. And so one of the ways that you can assist us in expanding our community even further is by sharing this live stream right now on whatever social media platform that you use. You can also grab the YouTube link and share that through email to anyone you think might enjoy these teachings. And so one of the things that we do every Sunday morning to demonstrate, to actually put into practice our inclusion commitment, is our inclusion candle lighting ritual. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all peoples, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the ways of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles of love and law. We light the 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. And so I invite you again, right where you are, to lift your voice. Let your neighbors hear your joy as we join in our next community song. Here we go.
The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me and resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me and resting in the joy of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. I know that all is well.
So this is our time of announcements. I want to remind you of everything that's offered during the week to support your spiritual journey. Monday through Saturday from 8 to 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time, we offer a daily morning meditation and prayer time. On Monday morning, Reverend Sarah Nichols hosts that on the Zoom link. And on Tuesday through Saturday, I host that, and it's available on the Zoom, the YouTube, and the Facebook link. On Tuesdays, we have the Actualizing Wholeness discussion group from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. It is a discussion group using the methodology of dialogue that came forward from the work of David Bohm, which really is a dive into the curiosity with no particular outcome in mind, to simply allow ourselves to be informed by the wisdom of the infinite that is within us. It is a lively discussion group, and I really encourage you to, at the minimum, check it out and see if it's for you. On Wednesday evenings, we have the 52-week spiritual activism practices for 2021, which is taking a dive into a practical, active application of spiritual principles using the AGNT materials. AGNT is the Association of Global New Thought, and that is on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Several folks requested that we extend the start date for spiritual economics to give them time to get their resources together, so we responded affirmatively to that request. And so the spiritual economics class will begin on March 4th and go through April 22nd. The early bird registration has been extended through February 28th. The full price between February 28th and March 4th. And then we still have the installment plan available to you. We do still have the two offerings Thursday mornings from 10 to 1 p.m. Pacific Time and Thursday evening from 5 to 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So if any of those call to you, encourage you to invest in yourself and sign up for this. This is a Centers for Spiritual Living certificated class, and so if you are taking classes for this practitioner track, this is one of the classes that may help you along the way, depending on other classes that you've selected. So check it out. We would love to have you join us. I want to thank everyone who showed up at our member meeting last week, and again apologize for the technical difficulties that we experienced in the values clarification exercise that I had planned. It is available in our newsletter, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with this exercise, and we may even get more folks engaged that weren't able to be at the meeting. And so in the newsletter, it will look like exactly what's on the screen there. You just click on that and it will take you to the survey. We will also put the link for the survey for those members of our community that want to participate in clarifying the values of Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Those links will be in the Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom this morning. Look for those in just a few seconds. We will have our monthly community meeting immediately after service this morning on Zoom. So I hope you'll join me there. Thank you.
So this is our time of inward shift. And so I invite you to minimize the distractions in your immediate area. If you feel comfortable, allow your eyes to close, or at least a soft gaze. If you are driving while you're listening to this service, please do keep your attention on your driving. There will be a brief meditation, a contemplative meditation, and our practitioner this morning, Deborah Ellis, will bring us out of the meditation with our opening affirmative prayer, also known as a spiritual mind treatment, and then she will lead us in reading our weekly affirmation. Enjoy.
Observe what is going on in your life and know that you are not your experiences. I notice what is going on inside of me. What do I need to do to get to that space where I could be the happiest and the most powerful person in my world? If I have done a lot of work on myself and I understand the principles that what I think and say goes out from me, and the universe responds and it comes back, then I observe myself. I watch myself without judgment and without criticism. This seems to be one of the biggest hurdles I have to make. Just look at myself objectively. All the things about me. Just note what they are without making comments. Just observe. As I allow myself the space to go inside and begin to notice what is going on, how I feel, how I react, what I believe. I come from a space where I am much more open. Today, I notice what is going on inside of me.
And anchoring a little deeper into your breath, into that sacred and holy breath of life. That breath that is shared in and through and as all of creation. It is that spot of interconnectedness. It is that light. It is that place where love, deep and abiding peace, joy, join. It is that place of the universal intelligence that I call God in this moment, that is knowing itself as all of life. It is in me now. It is my life. I joyfully speak a word of blessing for this time together in spiritual community, anchoring this truth that there is only one, that there is one life that we share together, that it is filled to overflowing with love. It is that deep well, that source that is life-giving and sustaining. It is sustaining this place we call Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. It is sustaining everyone within the sound of my voice and beyond. So blessed, so grateful to be here in this place, to serve, to be woke, to be that place where love can know itself. And so I revel in that, and I take responsibility for the seeds that I plant in the creative process through my thoughts, recognizing that I'm a part of this great and grand expression, as are each one present here today. So I just feel the gratitude of that and allow myself to anchor into that more deeply. And I accept that for all of life. And so I release into that alchemy of love and law that makes it so. And I simply just allow it to be so. And so it is.
And so I invite you just to stay in this meditative space and just absorb the words of our weekly affirmation first. I am open to the promise of a clean slate, which every moment holds. Now taking a breath with me, let's read that out loud right where you are together. I am open to the promise of a clean slate, which every moment holds. And so it is. So I've been experiencing significant flu-like symptoms since Friday as my body does its job responding perfectly to my second COVID vaccine. While I'm right here behind the scenes, I have not felt well enough to adequately prepare a new talk for this morning. So I'm taking the suggestion of one of our members to replay my candidate talk this morning. I'll see you on Zoom after the service. Enjoy. So I just got to take you in a minute. You're quite lovely. I don't know if your mirror told you that this morning, but you are. I am Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am honored to be here. I'm an emotional guy. That Imagine song, I've already boo-hooed my way through the morning. And I'm good with that. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, because that's how I got to the place of understanding oneness. So take a breath with me, because this first little piece might create a bit of cognitive dissonance for you. The minute you looked at me, you made some assumptions based on the beard, based on the suit, based on the baritone voice. I was born in the wrapper of a female. So just take that in. It's like my sister-in-law said, just gonna need a minute with that. It took me 43 years of minutes. I knew at the age of 4, but I didn't have an avenue to be me. Why is that important for you to know? It's the same conversation I had with a police officer recently who was like, dude, if you didn't tell us, nobody would know. Why do you tell people? I tell people, and this is what I said to him. I asked him, I said, do you have children? And he said, no, but we're trying. I said, I share it so that when your child is born, if it grows up different than you expect, it won't have to want to die every day because it doesn't get to be who it is. That's why I tell people. And when being transgender becomes just as normalized as being cisgendered, I'll shut up. And until then, we have to make it visible, because what is invisible goes unrecognized and goes uncelebrated. And all God's children get to be celebrated for exactly who they are. So, here's this little person who literally, and it wasn't just on Sundays. Monday through Friday, I'd set up all the stuffed animals after school and teach. And Saturdays, I took off. And Sunday, I preached. And it's just always been there. And then there was this process of humanity that instilled in me that I had made choices that disqualified me from being a minister. Because I lived on planet Earth, and sometimes my judgment was less than good. Just was. I grew up, my childhood, let me just tell you this before I tell you any of the stuff. My childhood was wonderful. It was exciting, and I wouldn't trade a minute of the mess of my childhood. Because my mess is my message. Okay? So I grew up in Leesburg, Virginia, born at Loudon Memorial Hospital, 12/24/59. It's never too late to send cash. I'm serious. There was the county jail. Did you not like that? Okay. There was the county jail. There was a whorehouse, and there was our house. So I grew up, we were the only Caucasian family in literally a black ghetto. So I grew up immersed in the diversity of skin color and culture. I am the only person I know that has white skin that has officially had black lessons. My friends came over, "You're all right, but you're a little too white, and we're going to fix that." They packed my clothes in boxes, took me home with them, cornrowed my hair, and gave me black lessons for 6 months. It was awesome. I know how to cook, I know how to dance, I know how to have fun, and I'm here to tell you, cornrowed hair hurts. It hurts. So when people in the black culture tell you it hurts, they're not making it up. It hurts. You know? So I grew up immersed in oneness and had no idea that's what was happening. Had no idea. I was a childhood drug addict. I was introduced to heroin unbeknownst to me at the age of 7. I was an IV heroin addict by the time I was 9. I knew how to shoot a gun before I knew how to spell my name. And all of that is perfect. I really want you to get that. Notice the smile. There's no negative charge because that was my path. Today I stand here 35 years clean and sober. And that path that path has prepared me well because there's very little, and it took me a while to get this, because as a minister, we get a lot of stuff. There's very little that's going to surprise me. See, because I was also raised in pretty fundamentalist religions. We started out United Methodist, then we went to Baptist, then we went to Southern Baptist, then we went to Church of the Nazarene, then we went to Pentecostal Holiness, then we went to Pentecostal Holiness House Church with snake handling. So it's, my one experience in the Catholic Church, it's like my friend invited me to go, so I went to church with her. What she failed to tell me was that they genuflect before they go in and sit down, so I'm right behind her. She stops to genuflect, right over top of her, face planting in the aisle. So that's my experience with Catholicism. But what I learned, aside from how unnecessary all the guilt and shame is that precious I-thou relationship. The Pentecostal gave me an anchor into meeting and communing and fellowshipping and living breath to breath with whatever this is that lives inside of me. I know that place. I get to live in that place. And I get to see that place in everybody. I was raised by my grandmother, who was probably the wisest human being I have ever known. Told you I'm an emotional guy. She gave me the greatest gift anybody has ever given me, because she taught me growing up. This is how she dealt with me, because I had stuff that needed to be corrected. I love you. I hate this shoplifting behavior. I love you. I love you. I hate when you lie. I love you. Every time. She started with love. She identified very clearly the issue, and she ended it with love. And it was years later before I realized the gift that she had given me was to know at a deep cellular level that I am not my behavior, that I am something far greater than that no matter what I do, I deserve love. And that transfers. That's the gift that I get to give all of humanity, whether I'm standing in a pulpit or I'm at the recycle center trading in cans and bottles. I get to see the beauty and the love and the magnificence in every set of eyes, because I get that this is God looking at God and God looking back at God. Because if God is all there is, it cannot be any other way. There's no, see, in oneness, there ain't no other. So we can separate ourselves mentally all we want. We can hoodoo ourselves. We can lie to ourselves. We can act as if it's true. And there still ain't never going to be a word of truth in it. You are the divine in form. Like it or not, that's who you be. I am one that I hold myself to stand in that. Can you turn that down just a bit, Ike? Thank you. Because we kind of minimize it when we talk about God in me or God through me. I'm calling you up to own God as you. Stand in that. Dare to stand in that depth of oneness, because when you do, everybody stands there with you. Ernest Holmes says it this way. Because sometimes, even in science of mind, we get really confused that focusing on diversity is somehow divisive. Not so. The thought of God must be the cause of all that really exists, and there are many existing things. There must be many thoughts in the mind of the infinite. This is logical to suppose, for an infinite mind would necessarily conceive an infinite variety of ideas. Hence, the world of multiplicity, or many things. But the world of multiplicity does not contradict the world of unity, for the many live in the one. If we get sidetracked on the politics of diversity, we have already lost. I don't care what your political party is. I really don't. What I care about is that you vote with a consciousness of your heart. That's what I care about. That we all are awake to what is real, which is divinity. Every expression, whether I like how you behave or not, I do not get to separate you into some other category that says, I know you guys are God, but I don't know. You're doing some stuff not real godly in your behavior. And I'll bet you, even in that completely arbitrary example, folks over here got some feelings going on, like, well, how come we got picked? How come pick on them? Because we're feeling beings. Now think about segments of our society that we marginalize. That's what they feel every day. I would be remiss if I ran from the challenge to address what's happening in our country right now. It would be scary if I didn't understand what's happening. Supremacy has no place in oneness because supremacy demands a hierarchy of others. What we are witnessing is the death of supremacy. Yes. In every form. When I say supremacy, I'm not just talking about race. I mean supremacy in every form. No more, my dog's better than your dog. No more. It has no place. Because in true equality, there's only one. And every exquisite manifestation of it is not only perfect and brilliant and equal, it's necessary. And it's divinely created. And here's where I dropped into a place of oneness that blew my mind. When I finally understood the power of free will, that creation itself created every one of us to experience itself as our life and trusts us enough to completely let go. Think about that. The power of this universe trusts you with its experience of itself unconditionally. That's the power that lives in you. Holy wow. Now the flip side of that comes the R word. I developed a year-long transformational intensive. It's 5 sequential classes. And every time I teach it, about halfway through, the students start going, oh, you're going to talk about the R word again, aren't you? Responsibility. Because with great trust, with great power, comes great responsibility. And what would change on this planet if every one of us took ownership of our power from a perspective of responsibility? That we acted in a manner in alignment with principle. Now, I love science of mind, but I don't care where you find your principle. Just find it. If you find it here, great. If you find it in 12-step, great. If you find it on the street corner, great. Just find it. And if you're waking up and you notice that the world isn't quite in alignment with principle, great. And if you go through your day thinking the world is in perfect alignment with principle, wake up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because regardless of our political affiliation, regardless of how we feel about immigration, children are being harmed at the border. Families are being decimated. And there's nothing in principle about that. My favorite passage in this Science of Mind text that guides every decision I make. You will find it on page 270. Because Ernest Holmes makes it very clear how to define justice. The criterion for any man, woman, person, as to what is right or wrong for them is not to be found in some other person's judgment. The criterion is Listen very closely. Does the thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? That's pretty clear. So if something I'm doing harms anyone, including me, it's wrong. Stop it. Just stop it. The problem is we don't know what to do instead sometimes. And this is where imagination comes in. The song could not be more perfect. The imagination of creation itself is your imagination. It thinks your thoughts. It dreams your dreams. And it's simply waiting for you to recognize that and to use it. Imagine this, wherever God lives for you, because sometimes I catch myself, because I got a lot of years of, God out there. So some days God's out there. Oh, well, do I still relate to it the same? Yeah. So let yourself off the hook. Instead of getting all guilty and shamey and I know I'm not supposed to do that. Just talk to it wherever it is and understand you're talking to yourself. Okay? How many people talk to themselves? And those who think they don't, did you not just say, I don't talk to myself? Just say it. It happens. So what if your internal conversation was pure love? What if your internal conversation stopped the pattern? Because I can't stop something out here that I haven't stopped in here. See, we all want to be the butterfly. What we need is more caterpillars. You cannot be the butterfly without starting as the caterpillar. True transformation. Is the caterpillar recognizable once it becomes a butterfly? No. It literally turns into a gelatinous goo inside the cocoon that becomes something else. Dare to access your imagination to become transformed, to become an individualized cell in the body of the one. Dare to challenge all of those messages that we're socialized to believe that tells you you're separate, because you ain't. It's like, think about it in terms of your own physical being. Identify a group of cells. Okay? Whether they're the liver cells, whether they're the adipose cells. If I was going to pick, that might be mine. And imagine completely eliminating those cells from your body. How well would you function? Not so well. But that's what we do when we other people. We say this group of cells no longer qualifies. Off you go. And the body of divinity doesn't function so well that way. So our invitation is to stop it. First, we have to stop it. And then we reimagine ourselves and everyone else. Every politician that makes you turn off the TV, you are one with them. Every predator that has ever preyed on the innocent, we are one with them. When I see the mass shootings, before I go into prayer, I acknowledge out loud, I am the shooter. I am the shot. I am the parent. I am the gun manufacturer. I am the ammunition manufacturer. I am the person at the sales counter who sold the weapon. Because I am. Because anything less than absolute ownership is participation in the lie, and I refuse. I refuse. Because I love this planet. I love divinity. I love every one of you, so why would I eliminate part of our body? It's about healing. Ernest Holmes said there's never anything to be healed, only more truth to be revealed. Are we willing to stop trying to do surgery on humanity and reveal the truth that's already in us? So I want to invite you. Listen to this quote, and then I want to invite you to go inward for a brief exploration. And this is from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Whether you believe in God or not does not matter so much. Whether you believe in Buddha or not does not matter so much. As a Buddhist, whether you believe in reincarnation or not does not matter so much. You must lead a good life. And a good life does not mean just good food, good clothes, good shelter. This is not sufficient. A good motivation is what is needed. Compassion without dogmatism, without complicated philosophy, just understanding that others are human brothers and sisters and respecting their rights and human dignity. That's pretty inclusive. I love you. I hate your behavior. I love you. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and go inward into that space where your imagination is alive and vibrant, and bring that imagination into a picture of a healthy, healed, vibrant world of oneness. And I invite you to just stay there a minute. And I invite you to imagine the divine singing this to you. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. knowing there is only one infinite, ever-present source, knowing it is the very essence of my being, that it is all that is here in this room, on this planet, in this community that I know as Sierra for Center for Spiritual Living, as Grass Valley. And knowing that there is only one, I know that each and every one of us must be that in form. Must be. It can be no other way. And so I stand in the truth and the power of that truth, calling forth the brilliance of magnificence of creation itself as each individualized expression of itself, calling forth that energy, that essence, that fire. It says, let me create. I got this. And we love our humanness right out of the way so that our brilliance can be our front door. As I speak my word, knowing it is the word of the one speaking as me, I am moved to gratitude. A gratitude that knows it is done. A gratitude that is the acknowledgement of completion. And in that acknowledgement, I am free to release my word because it's done, it's complete. And if any part of this has resonated with you, I invite you to join me as we anchor it together by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
One, two, three, four. Together we'll stand, the fire will fall. Come on, people, let's get on and work together. Come on, let's work together. Because together we will stand, everybody is part of the plan. When things go wrong, you can sometimes feel the road you travel, it seems all together. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Because together we will stand. Everybody is a part of the plan. Make someone happy. Make someone smile. Let's work together and make it right for the line. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Because together we will stand. Everybody is a part of the plan. Hey, on our hill, walk hand in hand. Let's make the school of life a good place to stand.